You're listening to the Empowered Divorce Podcast, where you practice being the chooser in your life again, one day at a time. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my amazing listeners. Thank you for joining me today. I am continuing our conversation around boundaries, but today talking about boundaries and children through and post-divorce, handling the challenges with their father. This just might end up being a two-part episode because I know there are seriously such tender, vulnerable, intense, and convicted feelings around mamas and their babies. I will tell y'all, the timing of me recording this episode is not a coincidence. It's been really interesting. I have had these thoughts going about what I want to share, these tools, these concepts that I want to share with each of you around children and this topic, knowing that it is so nuanced. And I've been experiencing my own challenges navigating step parenting. But as I'm watching my stepkids' parents navigate parenting as co-parents, it has brought up some very tender emotions of my own, as I am not a co-parent, never have been. I've had to be the parent and sometimes parallel, but the absence of their father, both parental and financial, has left me feeling very alone in this parenting thing. And a lot of emotions around that. There have been times since remarrying that I will have parenting challenges show up where I have felt this deep worry, sadness, concern for my children. And as much as Scott is supportive and totally willing to be present for my kids, it's not the same, nor should it be, right? And now that I have a partner by my side who can create that support for me, but simultaneously, I am also alone as the primary parent of these children. There's a difference in that attachment. There's a difference in the biological piece that's missing. I mean, I love my stepkids. I know Scott loves my kids, but no one replaces the biological connection that ties child to parent. It's inherent. And so the ache that I feel when my children are hurting is not the same ache that Scott feels for my children when they're hurting. So I'll find myself wandering into my closet where I have my little safe space in there. And I just let myself grieve and cry and feel alone in it. So you mamas who are parenting alone and feel alone in it. Yeah, it is so hard. And I just want to invite you to dig deep and empower yourself in it. Remember, that's not be happy. It just means allowing yourself to feel all that comes with this kind of situation. Your children are your children, and nothing can take that away. Nothing. And no one. Does it maybe look differently right now? Yeah. Are there things happening that you don't want to have happen that are out of your control, like less time with them? Yeah. Is it possible that right now maybe they're mad at you and shutting you out because you're the safe one to do that with? Most likely. Could there be a chance that the other parent is saying things about you that aren't true? And this too is not in your control to do anything about? Unfortunately, yeah, they can. And they are still yours. You are still their mom. And they need you no matter what the new circumstances now look like. Today, I am really not here to tell you that you have to stop worrying, fearing, or having concerns. Of course you would when you are seeing things impact them in ways that you would rather not be impacting them with. Not only as a mom myself, but professionally speaking, I know what I know. I've experienced what I've experienced. I've seen what I've seen. And I believe that the principles that I share will, when you are ready to practice them, lead you towards healthy, freedom, empowered peace, and safety for you and therefore your children. I would say that the answers to many of your questions, like maybe 99% of your questions, are around children and concerns and worries and fears for them, with them. And they're going to require you to accept that your children are having their own human experience as well, that they have their own human brains, bodies, and emotions, and you can't control any of it. You can't prevent them from feeling That's all in their control bubble. And it's not a bad thing that they themselves get to feel those negative emotions. And just like I was talking about in previous episodes, where you can't set those healthy boundaries for yourself until you let go of the rope, let go of control over things that we never really had control over, that false sense of control. You have to let go of that. The same applies here with your kiddos. Ultimately, we need to see that we can't control our kids and the experiences that they choose to have with any of it. And maybe you've tried already to jump through hoops to protect them from feeling the impact of the divorce, feeling the impact of their father's abusive behaviors and different forms of that unhealthy communication. And you may have prolonged or hidden those external awarenesses of it, but can't do anything about the internal impact from it. I can relate to the pain and the heartbreak that that statement can offer to a mama heart. I also know that when you choose to lean into these principles, it will not only free you up, but it will free your children up as well. It will foster the healthy, safe attachment that I know you all want. And there's something else that I want to validate. It is very real, normal, common, however you want to phrase it, to have thoughts and feelings when you're in this space like, well, I don't even want my kids to like their father, or I don't want them to love their father. I don't want them to be with their father. They might like him more. They might believe him, take sides. He might take them away, pull them away, sway them, corrupt them, confuse them, emotionally abuse them, use them, hurt them, all the things, right? And yeah, that might happen. And I know many of you don't want to hear this. And yet the fear of it happening and then our good intentioned attempts to prevent this from happening is in fact not helping. Certainly not long term. Kids can feel it, even if you think you're hiding it. And please, please, please hear me out here. You get to worry about all of this. You get to feel scared, fear, apprehensive, controlling, or out of control about all of it. Of course you do. You have been through absolute hell, trauma that has impacted your brain for the rest of your human experience. Of course, you're wanting to protect your kids from that devastating experience. And this is where those rules and limits and boundaries can come in. Yet, if any of those are created in fear or control and unintentionally disempowered, then they will not work. They are not boundaries. They tend to be demands, ultimatums, and those are just going to create resentment and more injury and less safety. I invite you to take a deep breath here. Just really take a deep breath, maybe a few deep breaths, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. I've said a lot already, but I wanted to validate a lot already of what you might be experiencing. But take a moment to look towards the sun, towards the moon, ground yourself, as I know these are, again, very tender, sacred, vulnerable feelings that we have around our children. And the need that we feel is so real to protect them from all the things. We want to protect them, but sometimes there's these parts of us that want to hold on so badly to this idea that we can control, because without that, perhaps there's this thought that you might lose them too, that they will have pain like you. And this realization or this acceptance can often just be too much to bear right now. Check in with yourself, with your higher self, and what you need, and take these mama episodes in doses if you have to. Honor that. I see you. I believe you. I know how you want to protect your children. I know you're a good mom. I know you want what's best for them. And I know that you're trying. You really are enough. And you don't need to do anything different right now that you are doing. You're not doing it wrong. You're not messing it all up. I promise and I promise it gets better. When you learn different, when you see different in yourself, especially when you feel different within yourself, especially, then you will want to do something different. Today, we're learning, we're gathering information, thoughts, and trying on the hard, leaning into the uncomfortable just a little. And then you can revisit this as many times as you want. I'll invite you to join the live Q&A that I have the beginning of every month. The next one is March 4th. I think this is going to air before then. Head over to the show notes or go to amywoolsey.com, click on Q&A. I offer this free once a month where you can take these emotions, these questions, these concerns, bring them to me, feel the support of those around you who are also going through very, very similar situations. You don't have to carry all of this alone. Because of course we don't like seeing our children hurt. And when that hurt is coming from the other parent, y'all just like no words. Well, okay, 4-letter words. But this is one of those situations that we find ourselves in that unless someone's been in it, unless you know because you're experiencing it, then you don't know shit. So maybe you're getting advice from others like, hey, it's really important for kids to have a relationship with their father. So you need to bend over backwards and accommodate him to make sure that the kids have a relationship with him. I mean, maybe not in those exact words, but how many of you have had this implied? Even maybe by your ex, right? Or you are being a horrible co-parent that you're not letting me see and talk to my kids anytime of my choosing. Oh, you're busy right now taking a bath? Well, get out, go get the kids. I want to talk to them now. And if you won't let me, I'll report you. You're alienating them from me. Why can't you just be a better co-parent? Or, hey, the kids want to spend more time with me. And if you would just be more agreeable, then we could work together and create our own schedule. We don't have to use the legal schedule. Co-parents create their own. And we don't have to stick to what the courts say. We could just, co-parent better and get along. Oh, and by the way, our like co-parenting schedule is really no schedule because we'll just, wing it based on what works for me. Have you heard that one? Or, the kids are saying that you are just so tired all the time and not really doing much with them anymore. They aren't really, having fun and joy. I mean, I'm not paying child support or anything, and you're probably tired from working your fingers to the bone, but gee, I can just come and get them, play with them because I'm off my new girlfriend or new wife. So I'm not tired. And now that I have a new wife and her children, the kids would really do better over here because, we are a family and can give them more than what you can give them when it's just you because you're working all the time anyways. You're not even really there. So I can just come get them. You only have a few hours a night with them anyways. Okay, I could go on and on because I have freaking heard it all and I've experienced it all. This is why divorcing from betrayal trauma and having that post-separation and divorce abuse escalate, others who divorce and remain amicable do not understand. So please do not compare your experience to those types of divorces. It is different. And it's not because you're crazy. It's not because you're holding on to pain on purpose or not healing enough or whatever others or your brain tells you is going on here. You've experienced trauma. And when you have someone that you share children with that will try to reopen those wounds that they created, some of them will also enjoy watching you bleed. With all of these experiences and then some, of course, you're going to feel a lot around this type of manipulation, blame shifting, and downright cruel behavior. Anyone in their right mind would want to feel this way about such behavior, which is why I'm not going to try and talk you out of thinking and feeling what you want about it right now. Handling these emotions with maturity means feeling them in your window of tolerance, where you can stay grounded in your truth, in your values, your principles, your lived experience, right? Allowing your body to feel the sensations of all of it without shame, blame, or self-judgment. When I'm working with women who have experienced this kind of trauma, one of the most common things that I see is, and I'm not excluding myself from this observation, but what I see is women will get triggered by their children when their children are having similar behaviors as their father, as your ex. I hear things like, my children are treating me the same way as their father was treating me, or my children are acting just like their father. They are manipulative just like their father. They are looking at pornography just like their father. So the first hard truth that I want to share is your children are not their father. They are not. They cannot be. Your children are not you. They are not and they cannot be. They need to be seen as individuals having their own human experience. And they are not their father because you are their mother. They have you. You are in their DNA. And that alone is different from their father. I will tell you right now that when we look at our children through the lens of fear and worry and anger, and maybe even disgust for their behaviors because they're making similar choices as their father, then the way that you show up for them will not be safe, secure, steady, and stable. That safe, secure, steady, stable attachment that you need to be for them is not the same steady, safe, secure as you were trying to cultivate in your marriage, which is another reason why we don't want to compare the two, right? Father and child. These are two completely different attachments that we have with each of them. So we can't make the injuries with X the same as with children, even if the behaviors are the same. Does that make sense? You are always the parent. That role, no matter what age you and the kids are, is always the same. And you are the secure that they can attach to, not the other way around. And when we're making their behaviors mean that they are just like their father, just like your ex, you're going to show up in a way where you're trying to attach to them. For example, mom sees child looking at pornography and goes into fear mode. Oh my gosh, they're going to end up just like their father and hurt their future spouse like I was just hurt. So I need to make them understand the impact that this is going to have and could have on their future partner by telling them the impact that it has had on me. I need them to understand me, my experience, because I'm afraid that they're going to keep doing this and then it will end up doing it to someone else like me. So hear me, see me, believe me, child. This is not healthy, secure attachment from the parent. Or, hey, you're manipulating me, gaslighting me. This is just like your father. And you need to stop because you have to treat me with respect. I need your empathy. I need your support. I need your understanding, or you will never have a healthy relationship in the future. And you will end up injuring your future partner just like I was injured. So I am trying to get you to hear me, see me, and believe me so that you won't be like your father. This is not healthy, secure attachment from a parent. When you are inviting a child to attach to you, this is not healthy, secure attachment from a parent. What we want is to invite the child to attach to us. And that goes back to what I very first started with, letting go of control. Boundaries here with children through and post-divorce are to help you stay safe, secure within your own internal locus of control, so that when child, no matter what age, wants to attach to you, you are safe and secure to do so. When I react to my children, when I try to attach to them and like save them, fix, rescue, solve, whatever that looks like, when I try to go over into their bubble and attach to them anxiously, or even withdraw from them because of their behaviors and so avoidantly, either way, it is creating an unsecure attachment. And what boundaries are going to do is help you stay safe within your own internal locus of control. You're like the lighthouse in their storm of life. You cannot be in the ocean trying to control all the waves, right? You can't be their boat captain and grab hold of, what's it called? The helm. You can't go to the helm and grab it and start steering their ship for them. You are the light that gives them hope, that gives them a path, that gives them a safe harbor, a steady and a stable, and that is always there. That is your role in your child's life. And so when you're witnessing unhealthy, worrisome behavior show up in your children, you first want to turn inward and get clear with the difference between your emotions versus your children's emotions, your experience with the situation versus theirs, your role versus theirs, and your child versus your ex. When we can get into that space, that is where we can see where boundaries are needed. But again, these boundaries are going to be for you versus your children. What do I need to do to protect myself so that I can stay this steady lighthouse, so that I can keep the light on. When I go into worry and fear and I dive into the ocean and I start hauling after them and I'm trying to protect and rescue and save, that means I now abandon myself, parts of myself, in order to rescue them. And now I'm not as steady and stable. Maybe that light isn't shining as bright. I am not lighting the way. So, what are those boundaries that I'm going to have for me? Maybe that's, when I feel the fear, when I feel that intensity, I'm going to validate those emotions for myself. I'm going to let myself feel that for a moment. Maybe I write in my journal. Maybe I go for an angry run or a walk. But this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to jump into the ocean and start swimming after them and try to rescue or scream at them, yelling demands of what I think they need to do and not do for themselves, right? That's my boundary for myself. So that's what we can start practicing first. Turning your locus of control towards yourself in these situations rather than trying to reach out to your child and make them attach to you. Yeah, this is going to feel the most counter to what you have been doing or what you feel needs to be done. And yet, you have to align with yourself first. But this alignment doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, okay, or put together and non emotional. This alignment just means that you yourself are going to focus on what we've been talking about this month around boundaries, right? Boundaries for you so that you are more grounded and secure within. So that when your children have their own dysregulating experiences because of the storm and the waves and the times that might be steering their ship away from you, you will still be that secure, steady, stable lighthouse, lighting the way, giving them that hope, giving them that path and direction so that they can come to you when they choose to, as opposed to you trying to jump in and control their little bubbles and trying to make them secure so that you can attach to them. I need your behavior to stop. I need your behavior to change so that I can feel safe with you. That is not secure. That's going to keep them from their own growth. That is actually control. So I've heard this phrase several times, this like, what are some boundaries that I can put on my kids, right? And remember, boundaries are about your personal space and the safety in it. It's what you're okay with and not okay. And when you do that work for yourself, then you'll be able to show your children, emulate this to them, but also what we're wanting to teach them is to create their own boundaries around their own personal space and decide for themselves what they are okay with and not okay with. And when we're jumping into their bubbles, when we are trying to control the situation or circumstance, then we're not lighting that path for them to see the direction that they can go. My children have yet to be able to attach securely to the other parent. So if that other parent is not doing what they need to do to be that lighthouse, to be the steady, to be the rock, to light the path, to give the hope, to show the way to safety. If I am getting muddled into my ex's behaviors, then once again, whether I'm jumping into the ocean trying to save my kids and abandoning myself that way, or abandoning myself trying to get in the middle of their father's relationship with children, either way, I'm abandoning my post, right? I'm leaving the lighthouse. I am not shining the light. I'm not lighting the path. I'm not being that safe, secure harbor and showing them the way, showing them what healthy looks like in social situations, showing what emotional regulation looks like, showing how to handle and navigate the stress of the storm. Being that safe, secure parent right now, as you are parenting alone, as you are not maybe perhaps co-parenting, but parallel parenting, that parallel parent is, I am showing you a different way. Co-parents is, here is the way that we both as parents want for you to emulate. Or parallel parent is, I'm emulating a different way that is parallel to this other parent. So if I abandon my post, I'm not showing my kids another way. I have to do my work. I choose to do my work. I want to do my work so that I can show them another way. And I'm in it for the long haul. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't, hey, in 2 weeks, it's all going to be hunky dory. This is, I get my entire life experience as their mother because nothing and no one changes the fact that I am their mother. I get my entire life experience as their mother to light the way, to give them hope, to show them a path, to be that safe, steady, secure harbor for them when they want to attach to me. Part of that might look like, hey, over here in this safe harbor, in this safe space, what's not okay with me is to treat me with disrespect, to yell, scream, or destroy property in this safe harbor. So welcome, come to my safe space. Here are the rules. Here are the limits, right? You can feel all of your feels. You get to feel every single emotion when you are over here in the safe harbor. But the limit is that you cannot hurt yourself, hurt other people, or destroy property when you feel those big emotions, right? That's a limit. Here are the rules of the household so that everyone in this household stays safe and protected. And the boundary is this is what I'm creating as the mother and as the owner of the harbor. This is what's okay and this is what's not okay, so that I can stay the steady, so that I can stay the secure for each of you who are visiting my harbor. If I abandon this because I am trying to placate to you and attach to you, control the relationship between you and your father, I am no longer a light. I am no longer showing you the way. I am no longer the safe, steady harbor. Mamas, you have done such hard things. You are still doing so many hard things. And this is really hard work. This is a hard conversation. I know there are a lot of questions. I will try to continue to answer them in these episodes, but please sign up for that free Q&A. March 4th, the link will be in the show notes. We will take this one step at a time. And if you want additional support for your specific situation, because I know there are so many unique situations, book your session with me today and let's chat. I hear you. I see you. I believe you. You are not alone in this, and you don't have to be. And I promise it gets better as you will see that you can be the chooser in your life and these experiences and choose the life experience that you want to have in all of it, because you can. Take care. Hey, guess what? There are 2 openings left in the coaching membership, Believing in You. The afternoon group, 12 o'clock Mountain Time. It's 90 minutes a week of coaching, y'all. And then you get one-on-one attention in between those sessions. You get a discount on brain spotting sessions. I teach a new tool or a concept, a little bit of that psychoeducation at the beginning of every session each week. They are all recorded just in case you can't make every single week. Then worksheets galore to help support you where you are feeling stuck in your journey. All of this for $80 a week. I really wanted to make this affordable for my divorced ladies who are wanting to get that extra help, who are wanting to start connecting back to themselves, believing in themselves, believing new things, believing that they're capable, believing new things about their children, believing that they can create the future that they want. And through coaching, I get to see into your brain and show you what is keeping you from believing all of it. To find out more information and to get one of those 2 spots starting next week, the 28th, then head over to the show notes or go to amiewoolsey.com and click on Believing in You, because it's time to start believing that you can. Take care, everybody.
I was born to fly and spread these wings and find my own. I am coming home. Today will be the day, it all will change. Nothing, no one's in my way. Today will be the day.